Not only do they love toxic men, but they love the men that they think that they can change.
So make a long story short, I put my hands on him. He then restrained me. I passed out, and when I woke up, I pretended like I lost my memory.
I can't afford to go to another country. This isn't my best friend.
Really, if he can't afford to go to this wedding, I really don't know if I can afford to remain in this relationship with him.
So when someone healthy and new comes around that actually shows genuine interest and genuinely wants to be with you, you freak out and you don't know how to act.
Sob story about their finances and then dump half the bill on you.
I want to be toxic.
Welcome back to More to Life. Before I get into this video, like, comment, subscribe. Also, smash that notification bell to be sure you get on my videos as soon as I release them. Let's get into this.
I have said it once and I'll say it again. If you do not want your husband or your boyfriend to cheat, it's very simple what you need to do. Here are the 5 things, guys. Initiate intimacy. Don't make your man beg. Okay? I mean, every day. Number 2, make sure there is a home-cooked meal on the table. If you guys don't live together, that's fine. You could bring him over some food to his house.
No excuses.
Number 3, clean. Clean the house. Pop over to his house, surprise him, clean his house. Number 4, do his laundry. It is such a easy thing to do and could go a long way. Number 5, when he gets home, give him some peace and quiet. The last thing he wants is a chick that is nagging at him, complaining, asking him to do things that you know he's not going to want to do. So give him some peace and quiet. It's very simple, ladies. If you want to keep your man happy, do those 5 things. Problem solved.
You know, made me start laughing because she's saying that, right? I'm just imagining one of those white ladies who get with the football players, right? In college, they go over their house, cook, clean, do their laundry, help them cheat on tests. They're kind of like Inspector Gadget, right? Just wearing many hats. I can do this, I can do that. Just bringing it. That's what a man needs. A woman that brings it. None of this, more of that. Don't save her. She don't want to be saved. Don't save. You can't save her, bro.
Wedding's coming up. It's my best friend's wedding. I am in it. I'm a bridesmaid.
Oh, wow.
And my boyfriend's not in the wedding, but I really want him to go. And he flat out refuses, saying that he can't afford it. And you know what? After all of this, like, if somebody's not willing to pay for at least, like, their half of this vacation, like, I don't know if I want to be in a relationship with them. Yeah, it's a destination.
This wedding is in the Dominican Republic. This wedding is in another country. I can't afford to go to another country. This isn't my best friend.
That's true.
And I'm not flying to another country paying thousands of dollars.
But it is a moment for the girl that you're dating to be in a wedding of her best friends. When you want to be there to experience that with her?
I can look at the pictures. I mean, I want her to go.
Oh, man.
I want her to have a good time.
I understand that you want them there, but I'm sure there's going to be others that can't have their significant other with them, right? You know what I'm saying? So isn't it okay to go single and let Jamie save that money for another trip?
Really, if he can't afford to go to this wedding with me, I really don't know if I can afford to remain in this relationship with him.
Childish, self-centered attitude.
Let her go. What do you mean? The man doesn't want to blow a bag on somebody he doesn't know? Man, I'll tell you like this. I wouldn't spend that on somebody I know. Seriously. I'm not spending $2,000 unless if it was my brother, maybe, but still, I'm not going to my cousin's wedding. I'm not spending $2,000 on that just to see it but even be a best man. I'm just not doing it. Sorry, you can lose me with that. So the fact that you're leaving him, you're probably doing him a favor.
What is the worst and longest lie you've ever kept up with? Okay, boom. Me and my boyfriend at the time is breaking up. We live together. I was moving out. I go to the house to get the rest of my things at like 2 o'clock in the morning. When I get off of work, he's on the phone with a girl. In my mind, we weren't broken up. To him, we were broken up. So make a long story short, I put my hands on him. He then restrained me by the neck, and we got to tussling. I fell. We both fell together, but he fell on top of me, and he stayed in the project, so my head hit that hard towel. I passed out, and when I woke up, I pretended like I lost my memory.
Filthy liar.
He didn't show no emotion the whole time until I blacked his eye. And then when I woke up from passing out, he was crying and kissing all over me. And I'm like, all I wanted was a little reaction, and now you're giving me a reaction, so I'm finna drag this.
Selfish motherfuckers.
My actions are not justifiable, but they're funny as hell today. So dude's waking me up and all this other stuff, and I'm just like, who are you? I don't know who you are. Mind you, my cousin is outside in my car waiting for me to come outside, but she doesn't know what's going on, and there's no way that I could tell her. He brings his little brother in the room, asks me if I know who he is. I pretended like I did not know who the brother was. I told them that they were keeping me hostage in the house and they wouldn't let me go outside. So they eventually let me go outside, and I started running in the middle of the road. This is crazy. So now my cousin's freaking out like, what the is going on? Like, she went in there okay, now she come out here, she's running in the street talking about this is not her car. Yeah, I told her I didn't remember having a car. I was supposed to be with my dad and my brother. Whole time I'm grown, haven't seen my dad and my brother in about 2-3 years. My cousin starts boohoo crying, freaking out, so she calls my dad. My dad starts cussing her out and saying, take her to the hospital. So we go to the hospital. We go to the hospital, they put a neck brace on me, and they say, you know, they had to put a neck brace on because a nerve in my neck could be pinched, and if it was, then I could possibly be paralyzed. They should have shut up. So they run a CAT scan on me, everything checks out, they about to let me out the hospital or whatever, but they never take this neck brace off of me. I goes home with the neck brace on. I still ain't tell my cousin that I faked all of it. Still ain't call my dad, tell him I faked all of it. Of course ain't tell my ex that I faked all of it. My ex reached out to me the next day and say, I don't care what my mom said. So I'm like, hold on, what shorty say? He gonna tell me his mom said won't nothing wrong with me and I was just crazy. I really didn't lose my memory. I was crazy. So she's actually diagnosed with bipolar disorder. So I'm like, how's she gonna call me crazy and you actually diagnosed with crazy? So now I'm finna show you what crazy is. I goes to shorty house the next day with the neck brace on, go in her room, make her cry, tell her, you know, your son put his hands on me and I had the hospital and they told me that I could be paralyzed, yada, yada, yada. So now I gotta wear a neck brace, drug it. So now the story must go on. So now I go back to work, I wear the neck brace. One of the little white shorties started laughing at me because I got a neck brace on, so I threatened to beat her up. I did not tell my ex any of this until a year ago. This happened, I want to say 2017. I really was insane. I don't know.
He probably stayed with her. I was in a situation like this. I think y'all remember. I spoke about it months ago, many months ago. And when you get in situations like this as a man, you have to leave ASAP. She hit him because she wanted a reaction. What if his reaction was to take your whole jaw? Seriously, that's some men's reaction. You can hit a man sometimes like a man. It can feel like that. And then when he returns the favor, then you're calling the cops. What if he would have socked you in your face? You would have called the cops on him. Seriously, don't hit men. See, a woman like this, she's doing things for a reaction. She's faking things. She's loving the attention she's getting. She is an imbecile. That's crazy. And the mother was right. The mother I guess the mother can read situations. The mother read it and said, I'm really crazy. You're not crazy. Because, I mean, to pull that off, I'm sure they're together still. I'm sure they're together. I'm sure she had to have done something else. And he said, I can't do it. I mean, somebody doing something like that, somebody's gonna end up in prison dealing with her. Somebody. And it's sad. But that's why a lot of men go to prison.
Y'all are surprised when Mariah the Scientist was fighting. She literally said in one of her songs, I'm from the East. You know, I'm knucking if she bucking. Why would she say that if it wasn't true? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah. With Mariah Scientist, what happened with Young Thug, you know, she deserves it. Everything that's happening to her, I can't feel sorry for modern woman in there. Because that's what she is, right? No matter how beautiful she is, to choose a guy like that, I like Young Thug's music, I do, but you know what he's about. He's about the all types of nonsense. That's why he went to jail, because he's about the nonsense. But still, when it comes to women, he's gonna slam. And why wouldn't he? Right? He worked for it.
Most women like toxic men, and they will never say that out loud. Not only do they love toxic men, but they love the men that they think that they can change. Women will consistently go after a man thinking that she will be the one to change him, and when she can't, now it's a problem. And the reason that we subconsciously do this is because we have been conditioned into believing that the right man is going to do everything we need and change for us if he loves us. What ends up happening is these women will pick these men thinking that they will change. And side note, we all know that men are not going to be forced to change, so it's already set up to fail. But these women will change these men into someone that they don't even like, or they even love, or they even want to be with. A lot of women live in fantasy land because we have been conditioned into believing that we deserve like this prince and this Prince Charming, and that it's supposed to be romantic all of their time. So we change these men, and they actually change for us, and some of them don't change fast enough, and these women will change these men and then decide that they don't find them attractive anymore. And the worst part about it is she will actually start to resent him and hate him for the man that he's become without even realizing that the reason he's become that way is because it's what she wanted. The moral of the story is find a woman who doesn't expect you to change, that loves you for exactly who you are, and always stay true to yourself.
Real talk.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, but women usually do that. They want the nonsense and they yearn for it. That's why you got with him. You knew he probably had your best friend. Seriously, they're doing things like this, and then you got with him anyway. Or if he didn't have your best friend, you know he's a ladies' man. You know he has different random girls hollering at him all the time that he's smashing. And then you get him to get on your program, right? Maybe you bring him in with food or with a place to stay. He comes over your place to lay his head sometimes, right? You feed him, clothe him, he changes, you throw him to the dirt. And I understand what she's saying. Like, man, if that's happening, say if you was a dirtbag before and you change for this woman, don't stress it. Just find another good woman. Life goes on.
Why does nobody talk about how hard it is to start dating a nice guy after you're only used to dating toxic men? Situationships usually give off this thing called intermittent reinforcement, meaning there's a lot of highs and a lot of lows, and you gotta fight for the attention, which makes you think that you like the person way more than you actually do. And when they do show you that attention, it gives you a higher high. So when someone healthy and new comes around that actually shows genuine interest in you and like genuinely wants to be with you, you freak out and you don't know how to act because you're not used to it. When a real genuine connection is consistency, not the highs, the lows, it's a normal level. So it can seem really unfamiliar, and you might find yourself self-sabotaging, picking fights, waiting for the other shoe to drop, needing constant reassurance. But lean into that uncomfortability because you're worth a real genuine connection, not the highs and the lows. You're worth a baseline genuine connection. You are, and it's worth it.
Never gonna happen. And that's why most aren't married, but that's never gonna happen. Maybe that's what she did, but she didn't say. Maybe she did that, got lucky, got with a nice guy. She probably had to, right? But still, most aren't doing that. Why? Because they may not be like her, right? Some may actually be super hot and gets any guy they want. So they want that challenge. They got a nice guy all the time telling them, oh, I really want to be with you. Trying to take them on expensive dates, blowing $300 per date, which I don't know why they would when even guys that are rich wouldn't do that. But still, doing that, doing whatever it takes to impress them and not getting anywhere because she doesn't know anything but the bad boy. Same thing the lady before was just saying.
Are you single?
I am single.
How much would you want a guy to spend on a first date?
Like $150.
If he's just meeting you, why should he invest that much up front?
Potential.
You're in the wrong business.
Sorry.
Potential.
Yeah, I'm doing you the favor of going out with you.
So you're doing them the favor of going out with you. And I just talked about that. I seen Ocho Cinco. He said it. He wouldn't spend $300 on a date for a girl. So you want a guy who most definitely, you want him to make more, but he's not gonna make more than Ocho Cinco made. Who wouldn't spend that money on you, and you expect him to? Why? Because you got a tan, right? You see they're all tanned up because you got a suntan. So he's supposed to spend it. Oh, because you got makeup. Oh, because you got a suntan, makeup, and you did some eyeliner and highlights in your hair. No, guys aren't going for it.
My for not ordering any food so I wouldn't have to split the bill. I, 27 male, have been a part of a small friend group, around 8 people, basically since college. For some background, 2 people in the group, Susan and Greg, are just absolute leeches. Going out for lunch, expect them to order the most expensive thing on the menu, then feed you some sob story about their finances, and then dump half the bill on you. Last weekend, Dan, one of the people from the group, told me about a casual dinner. I told him if Susan and Greg were there, then I wouldn't be able to come. He tells me that they would be there, but I should just put my opinions aside and just come once. This is kind of where I might be the asshole. I agreed with him, and I told him that I would be there. I show up, and we all get to talking. Everyone began putting their orders in. Most of us spent about $40. There were only about 6 people there. When it gets to Susan and Greg, they both order expensive dishes, around $200.
Oh my gosh.
When it was my turn to order, everyone looked at me, but I just picked up the menu and pointed to the $4 Miller Lite and sent the waiter away. Dan asked why I hadn't ordered anything, and all I said was that I lost my appetite. The other 2 friends got up as well to cancel their orders and just have drinks. After the main courses came out, I saw Susan and Greg picking at their food. The waiter then brings over the check. Greg then grabs the waiter and asks him to split the check 6 ways. I stand up and I correct him, saying the check was supposed to actually be split 3 ways. Greg looks at me confused and asks why, since we always split the bill. And I reminded him that 3 of us have not even eaten any food, so we would just be paying for our drinks. So basically at the end of the night, Dan, who probably only ate around $50 worth of food, was stuck with a $146 check at the end. Yes, I remember the exact number. I swear I saw his jaw drop when he picked up the receipt. I slid a 10 towards the check, said goodbye everyone, and then I walked out.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
The next morning, I found my phone full of texts from Greg and Susan telling me I was an asshole for not ordering any food and forcing them to pay more than they had accounted for. I honestly laughed because the steaks alone were more than what they had paid, but to each their own. I also got a lot of messages from Dan saying that I could have just not came instead of pulling that stunt.
Genius. That was a genius move. I mean, that happened to me too back in the day. And, I remember one time I had a friend, all he wanted to do was freeload. I said, I'm going to the buffet. He said, I'm coming too. I said, how you coming too? You have no money. So he came. I used to like to go in there to relax, eating buffet food. So I finished eating. Now I'm thinking, I said, do you have any money to pay? He said, no. So I said, I got up. There was a back door. I walked out the back door and left, right? Left from there. He saw that I left, got up and did the same thing. Came outside. He didn't realize. I was so pissed. I was already thinking, I'm not going to hang around you anymore. Never ever went out with him again. Stop hanging with him because of that. If you're doing things like that, I'm sorry. We can't be cool.
Okay, so this is part 2 as to why I am 31, single, and have never been in a relationship. So in part 1, I basically mentioned that in the mornings I was doing my practicum, in the afternoons I went to school, and then in the evenings I would work at a bar. Now, when I was working at a bar, I was there till probably 11, midnight, depending on the day, and basically that was my life. That was my routine, my daily routine. So going out I was really tired at the end of the day. I did go out. I'm not going to say I didn't go out. I had a group of coworkers that we would go out after work for one. But I barely ever, I didn't go to clubs. I didn't go to lounges. It was just after work drinks, have fun with the girls. So after I finished working, after I finished my degree, I moved to Spain.
That's why you've been single all them years. Look, you stacked your day. I mean, stacked it to the brim. Why did you do that? And I understand you probably was in college as well. You probably put yourself through college, paid for your own college. I could imagine. Didn't get a scholarship. That's what it sounds like from the way you were working. This is where they feel at, right? You did everything to lift yourself up in the eyes of your parents. That's what happened. So you missed out on dating. And you're a pretty girl too. So also what you bump into is guys probably won't feel comfortable talking to you. See you dress nice. Yeah. You're just a victim of your own circumstances. You caused that problem. Nobody caused it but you. That's why you're 31 and single. And you need to take some time for yourself, or you're gonna be 40 and single.
Guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. I want to be toxic. I want to be, hey, I just want to be I want to be a little toxic. I'm never toxic. I'm always taking the high road. I'm always the one first apologizing. I'm always thinking of everybody else. And I'm like, okay, how about now? How about now? Maybe this is my time. Maybe this is my time to be like a menace. I probably won't, but I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, that'd probably be a downfall, right? Because the next guy may be your husband. You never know. You hear it all the time. There's ladies that go through that over and over and over, and then you'll bump into a guy who's not playing games, and then you're playing games. And also, you come across like an airhead, to be honest with you. Seriously, you won't realize when a person's acting a certain way when they're playing games with you. You won't pick up on hints of it. You just keep loving and loving and loving until they run you into the ground. I'm sorry. That's how it comes across. Maybe it's because you were raised correctly. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. You probably had a father in your home, or maybe not, but you were raised differently. Because I'll be honest with you, I'm not trying to. Well, I am. Because if you're coming from where I'm from, you're going to be toxic, right? So don't be that way. Seriously, be you. Be yourself. A guy will find you if you're a good woman. I don't know that. I've never been in a relationship. Thank y'all for watching. See y'all next video.